Boo.
I did it again. I forgot to mute the other screen.
And I was trying to look for that scary picture that on the story from last week. I couldn't find her. I was going to stick her up there.
Aileen Warno. She's so creepy.
Yeah. Yeah, with her big eyeballs.
I can't even do the eyeball thing.
You did it. Perfect.
Hippie actually knew her. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Hippie. All right. We have Hitch Up in Tow over there. Hello, hello. We have Nomadic Hippie in here. After this stream, he's got a members only stream going to happen. It's going to be a live stream, and I believe it's a giveaway. So if you're not a member, you might want to become a member. Just saying. He does all kinds of cool stuff for his members. We have Miss Shanna Craft. Hello, hello. We have Linda Barker. Hello. All right. So you had a video come out yesterday. Want to tell everybody what that was about?
The video is where we're still trekking back to Texas. So it was our route where we were heading back. We did hit Colorado a little bit. We wish that we were able to do more of that when we started traveling, but we had some pretty good little stops along the way. So it's basically our travels, ending up to Texas. That's what came out.
So you guys are going to want to check those out because these are their older ones. And they did a lot of traveling. So a lot of good stuff.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Nettie put together a new video that Roy and Becky suggested. It's a new story that they suggested. And then there's some updates on 2 cases. One will be the Girl Scout video, if anybody remembers that story. And then the other one is the girl that was in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah, the suitcase killer.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get our story up and going.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Sadistic serial killer attracts young boys using his motorcycle. Shako, I very rarely, I'm not against it or opposed to it. I just very rarely. All right, I'll let you go first.
Okie doke. Saturday afternoon on June 18th, 1983, 2 teenage boys went to the Kingsbury Fish and Wildlife Park in Indiana to go camping. Jeff Lopez, 15, and Eric Fuller, 16. Both boys were from Kingsford Heights.
Dun, dun, dun. Not long after they set up camp, a guy on a motorcycle stopped by to visit. He introduced himself as Frank Davis and even let the boys take turns riding his motorcycle. Isn't it strange? Sorry, just think about this for a second, though. Like, back in the day, if you wanted to let a kid ride your motorcycle, you could hand it to them and they'd pretty much be able to ride it. They'd be able to change gears, figure that out. They knew about a clutch and a brake and everything. You hand a kid a motorcycle nowadays, they ain't going to know what a clutch or any of that is, or shifting gears. Like, a lot of kids these days wouldn't understand that.
You wouldn't have to worry about it getting stolen because they don't know how to even shift gears nowadays.
Yeah, unless it's someone who grew up riding or grew up on a farm, they're really not going to understand it. It's kind of crazy. All right. Here we go.
Okay. As one of the boys was riding the motorcycle, he got it stuck in the mud. Frank didn't get angered. He just smiled and helped pull it free. Afterwards, they sat around and smoked some marijuana together before Davis left the boys driving away on his motorcycle.
I used to pronounce that word marijuana when I
Marijuana.
was younger. Marijuana. Um, you hand a kid a motorbike over here, you would never see it again.
It's gone.
A lot of the kids in the country, just to be clear, kids in the country would know how to ride a motorcycle. It's more the city kids that it's like, it would go right over their head. They wouldn't have any clue.
Yeah.
The boys probably thought the fun stranger they had just met was on his way home. But in reality, Davis only drove a short distance away. Then he laid in wait in the cover of the woods, watching the boys back at their campsite. Even after the boys went to sleep for the night, Frank watched and waited. That's creepy. That is too creepy. Nettie froze up. Oh, I saw eyes blink. She's back.
Am I back?
All right.
You're About back. 3 a.m. Okay. About 3 a.m., Davis started to make his way closer to where the boys had set up their tent. He was careful when he woke up Jeff Lopez, holding out a knife, not wanting to wake Fuller too. He instructed Lopez to be quiet and then walk him away from the camp into the woods.
It was Frank. He did it. City and suburbs is in the huge neighborhoods going up everywhere. Yeah. Where I live used to be, when I moved out here, all country. It was all country, like fields and everything, growing crops. We even had like a grapevinery. And now it's overpopulated. It's craziness to me, like to grow through that, grow with it, to see it happen.
Yeah.
Once alone, he tied up the boy with wire before he sodomized and forced Lopez to perform oral S on him. Having arred and tortured the boy, Frank then wanted to get rid of him. Hey, Tommy Travels. Are you frozen again over there, Nettie? Uh-oh.
He did this with the axe that he had taken. He nearly declared in the woods. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. You want me to try reading again?
Yeah, try it one more time.
Okay. He did this with the axe that he had taken from the boy's own campsite, hitting him so hard that he nearly decapitated Lopez. And Davis left him lying there in the woods as he made his way back to the campsite.
I may be a little off in the head, but when I hear that he nearly decapitated him, I pictured like a block of wood and someone with an axe chopping that wood. And I wonder if he did like the same thing with the gruesome. Yeah. I know, but that's where my thought process went. And I wonder, ooh, I just wonder. Thank you, Char of Heart, for being here. All right. He didn't spare Eric Fuller. He carried the same sadistic crimes against him. before beating the boy with a rock over the head and leaving him for dead. Both boys would be reported missing Sunday evening.
There was a boy's body found Sunday night by a local woman mowing, but it was of another boy, Darren Reed, 14. His body was found about 2 miles away from where Lopez and Fuller had been camping.
And this man was on a mission.
Yeah, definitely.
After an examination by the coroner, it was determined Reed had been SA'd, had a wire tied around his neck, with his hands bound before being strangled. It was estimated that he had died around 10 p.m. on Thursday night. Nomadic hippie. These things usually happen at summer camp. In a haunted movie or a scary movie.
Yeah.
Sure.
Look out for Jason. Now, Eric Fuller, who had been left for dead, was found crawling from some bushes by utility workers on Monday. He was rushed to the hospital with serious injuries but was able to pull through. He gave the authorities the name and description of the man who attacked and assaulted him.
Okay, is Eric the one that got beat with the rock?
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, Chip and Toe said, what summer camps have you been to?
Right.
Hippie, you lived quite the childhood. Oh, Hippie, can I tell them what you said when I put up the thumbnail? Let me know in the comments. I won't say it unless you tell me I can, but let me know in the comments. It would take until Tuesday for the body of Jeff Lopez to be found. Unlike his friend, he did not survive. Tuesday also brought the arrest of Frank Davis, ensuring that there would be no more victims for this. Oh, that's a sentence. Ensuring that there would be no more victims for this sadistic killer. Yeah. So Hippie said, I can't look at your thumbnail anymore, but I'll be there. And I said, huh? And he sent me a picture of his dad. And he goes, it looks just like my dad. And it did. It looked just like his dad. I was like, did we just find out that your dad's a killer?
They say there's always a twin out there. So, it could be the twin.
Oh, it had to be his dad's twin. I mean, it's a copy. It was definitely a copy. Hippie went to summer camp with a girl from Wisconsin.
And a bucket.
It's up in Toe. What's my old Camp Crystal Lake? Oh, yeah, the movie. I always wanted to go there. It seemed like a great place. All right. Frank Davis, 30, murder suspect arraigned.
From his holding cell, Frank Davis would admit to both of the attacks on the three boys, also on an attack that happened a year earlier.
In that earlier attack, the victim had also survived and was able to identify Davis as his attacker. This happened not long after Davis had been released for serving 12 years for a robbery charge. Whoa. Okay, this man's not very good at killing people, first of all. Mm-hmm. Like, he's leaving them for dead and they ain't dead. Thank God. But he's not very good at it.
Yeah.
Second of all, he served 12 years and came out and decided to kill people and not succeed at it, he's not very good at the criminal life. Hey, Reverend Tommy Two-Tone, hello and welcome. Want to read that?
It says Davis found competent. Murder suspect Frank R. Davis is escorted Tuesday by Marshall County Sheriff Richard Tyson left and Sheriff Deputy Norm Long right to court in Marshall County, where he was found competent to stand trial for the murders of 3 LaPorte County teenage boys.
So I guess he was trying to get off as like insane or something.
Yeah.
Nice.
He wasn't very
He
educated.
wasn't good at he wasn't good at robbery either, said Hitch Up and Toe. Good to be here or anywhere for that matter. Maybe he should have attended a killer intern program before making a career out of it.
Yeah.
I wonder if they have those out there. Like a tag-along program like the police have, but only for murderers. While at a juvenile detention center, Davis was SA'd by one of the attendants and at least one other inmate. The courts later said the attack that Davis suffered from the fellow inmate was similar to how he assaulted one of his victims. See, this kind of stuff makes me mad because it just follows a pattern. If everybody would just keep the hands to themselves, then innocent people wouldn't be getting attacked. Also, I don't understand the mindset. If you didn't like it happening to you, why are you doing it to someone else? I really don't understand that.
Yeah.
Legal proceedings.
Davis was charged 2 counts of murder for killing Reed and Lopez and 2 counts of attempted murder for their assaults on their surviving victims.
Originally, Frank Davis was sentenced in 1984 to 2 death sentences with 2 50-year prison terms. Davis said, "I'm not going to appeal," when he was convicted.
Now, he was convicted of all of the charges and sentenced to death for the 2 murders. And Davis was also given 2 consecutive 50-year sentences for the 2 attempted murderers.
But in 1996, he asked for a new hearing. It was granted, where he was resentenced to 220 years imprisonment with the death penalty removed. So basically they said, okay, we won't kill you, but you're staying in prison for the rest of your life.
Yep.
Gotcha.
While this sentence was most likely kept Davis in prison for the rest of his life, there are at least 2 more cases that authorities believe Frank Davis had a hand in.
Hitchamato says, bargain. I don't understand why they're so scared to die. Like, I know that sounds kind of mean, but like, have any of you in the comment section over there ever thought about, like, if you did something so terrible and you had to be in prison for the rest of your life, would you rather have the chair, or would you rather stay in prison for the rest of your life? Like, have you ever thought about that? Because for me, I think just go ahead and take me. Take me now. Like, I end it. I don't want to be in prison with all these crazies. Like, I want out. And I think that's why some people are against the death penalty too, because they
Yeah.
think it's the easy way out. So yeah, I just kind of, what's everybody's opinion on that? Do you feel like, I don't know, if you had to be in prison, would you want the death penalty or the 220 years? What do you think? We read this one, right?
Yeah.
An essay of a young boy in Laporte and the essay and murder of another boy back in 1971, also in Laporte. If there is any chance of him being released, they can charge him with the murder in the case of 1971. So they're just holding cases ready to charge him if he ever decides that he needs out.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Shanna said, why want to stay there being assaulted? Take me out. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Fordman, aka Kenneth Oakes, hello and welcome. Thanks for sharing us out. I appreciate it. I don't think he was afraid to die. I just think you realized that dropping the soap was really fun for him. This is true.
Soap on a rope.
This is true, considering what he was doing to those boys. Depends on the prison food. Thank you, Sharp Hearts, for reminding everybody to hit that thumbs up button. I appreciate that. You got to be super bad, though, to have extra cases waiting to be thrown at you.
Oh, yeah. And then back to what you were saying, I think if they enjoy so much on harming and killing people, why are they not fascinated to die themselves? Because it's all about the thrill, so that's my mindset. I would think they would want to be taken out.
Also, maybe they're killing in prison too. Or maybe they get the opportunity to kill in prison because why not? They're already there for the rest of their life. What more trouble can they get in? I don't know.
Yeah. He also confessed to the murder of a 13-year-old Dwayne Bush on June 3rd, 1971. And Bush had been kidnapped, sodomized, and strangled.
Man, he was just all over the place taking care of business for himself.
Oh, yeah.
Victims. Dwayne Bush, June 3rd, 1971, 13 years old when murdered. Name not disclosed, January 10th, 1983, 15 years old and survived. Darian Reed, June 16th, 1983, 14 years old, murdered. Jeff Lopez, June 18th, 1983, 15 years old and murdered. Eric Fuller, June 18th, 1983, 15 years old and survived. Jeez. Nomadic Hippie, I have to go, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Excellent live stream, girls. Love you both.
Oh, thank you, Hippie.
Thank you, Hippie. See you later. Davis died in prison on January 22nd, 2008.
And he left before he saw his picture.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there you are. You get to see good old Dad. No, I'm just kidding. This is not Hippie's dad. This is not Hippie's dad. Davis in 1994. He is creepy.
Creepy.
He is someone, if I saw coming down the street, I would walk to the other side of the street. For sure.
Yeah. Look the other way.
All right. Case updates.
Yay.
Dun, dun, dun. Heather Mack, the suitcase killer. There you go.
Heather's Mack's daughter should live with me, the murder mom's friend says in a revealing new court filing.
Hasn't she been? Wait a minute. The baby's been living with somebody this whole time, right?
Right.
The grandparents. Hasn't she been with the grandparents?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay. A case of mother murder. Only this story has a new mother-daughter twist that opens a window into the tragic relationship between slain Oak Parker Sheila Von Weiss Mack, and her daughter Heather Mack.
Good job, BB. Background. Sheila Von Weiss Mack body was found stuffed in a suitcase in 2014 outside of Bali Resort. Heather, then 17 and pregnant, and her boyfriend Tommy Schaefer were later convicted in an Indonesian, I don't think I said that right, Indonesian court in the gruesome murder of her mother, who was bludgeoned to death with the handle of a metal fruit stand at the resort.
Just froze up. I think that we froze up. I'm waiting to see the comment section and let us know over there, everybody. Because on my second screen, it looks like we froze for just a second. But I think that we popped back in pretty quickly, so we should be okay. What you were reading, I think, went okay.
Okay.
Because I could hear you read it throughout. No freeze. Okay, thank you, Shanacraft. All okay, said Hitch Up and
Thank
Toe.
you.
Perfect. Thank you. Then it must have just froze on my end for a second. All right. Heather later gave birth to a daughter, Stella, while she was in prison.
And Heather served a 7-year sentence for her role in the crime. But when she and Stella arrived back in Chicago last November on a flight from Indonesia, I can't say that word.
Indonesia.
Indonesia. Thank you. Mack was quickly incarcerated at the Metropolitan Correctional Center, while Stella was sent to live with attorney Vanessa Favia in a short term guardianship.
I missed this comment. That looks like my brother, so Hippie must be my nephew. An exclusive peek comes through a new probate filing in Cook County Circuit Court by the murdered mother's best friend, Diane Rock Ellis, who is now seeking guardianship of Stella. Friend Diane Rock Ellis left. Sheila Von Weiss Mack and her daughter Heather Mack posed for a photo in Los Angeles before Von Weiss Mack was killed. So the lady on the left is the one who's trying to take custody.
Take guardianship. Yeah. Now living in California, Diana Ellis describes herself in the filing as a 62-year-old retired mother of 2 children with a compelling desire to be appointed as guardian for Stella. The godmother, known as Aunt Diane to Heather Mack, says she has a deep history with Heather and her deceased mother.
Hitch Up and Toe said, "Don't take my Stella. Drink, that is." I believe it is my obligation as Stella's best friend and Heather's godmother to ensure that Stella has the best possible home environment until Heather's current legal situation is resolved. Wait a minute. Does she think that Heather at some point needs to be in this child's life? Because that's absolute bull
Yes.
honky.
Yeah. And that's the other controversy of it because she does think that.
Oh,
So it's like,
no.
and Diana says she has plenty of free time to devote to Stella in her large home in Beverly Hills, which features an art studio and 2 housekeepers.
I have money and I can just provide all, except for the fact that this child needs to be kept way away from her murderous
Yeah.
mother.
Yeah.
Why would you even want to be the godmother? Why would she even want to be around this girl who murdered her mother? The godmother's best friend. Why would she even want to be around her? Like,
Yeah.
because she murdered her for the money. She's coming after you next. Like, I don't know. I don't get
Yeah.
this. This is crazy. Nonsense. Rich people are nonsense. Diane has researched possible schools and has lined up a therapist, pediatrician, and dentist. Her own financial resources, she will not need to access any financial trust assigned to Stella. It's bull honky.
Yeah. Can't fix stupid. And Diana Ellis also feels that Stella should continue to have a relationship with her other family members, including parental grandmother Kia Walker, Schaefer's mom, who lives in Forest Park, Illinois.
Yeah, she should have relationships with them and keep the hell away from them. Mother. I would facilitate this relationship by flying back to Chicago at least twice each year to allow Stella time with Miss Walker and extended family. Twice a year. Yeah, that's a real relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, this is making me angry.
Now, Miss Walker's attempt to get custody of Stella was rejected by a judge in 2017, and Stella instead went to live with an Australian family that had befriended Heather Mack in prison.
What does Mom think? Heather Mack strongly supports giving temporary guardianship to Diane Ellis. Oh, I'm sure she does.
Money, money, money. An email from Mack to Ellis states Stella is also excited to meet my Aunt Diana. She asked me if that means if Auntie Diana is her family too, and I said, of course it does. I told her I want Stella with Diana.
That's manipulating your child. Your child should know nothing about Aunt Diana unless she's going to meet Aunt Diana. Then she should know about Aunt Diana.
Yeah.
That is manipulation. What is going on with our judicial system, right? Trust me, I have questions too. Lots of them. Diana included a photo of a visit she had with Stella last month. Heather Mack's attorney, Jeffrey Steinbach, who represents Mack in the federal proceedings, said Heather has requested that the court grant Diane Rock Ellis as her guardian until such time Heather is available to resume parenting. That whole thing makes me angry. She murdered her mother and shoved her in a suitcase and yet was able to walk around with her child be in prison with her child,
Yeah.
then come out of prison and have her child, then go back to prison, and now she's getting to make decisions in said child's life. Mind blown.
her daughter's been bounced around so far. She's been at 2 different places. This will be her 3rd.
She should have been taken away a long time ago and placed in a permanent home where she could live a permanent, secure. That's what kids need above all. Do I understand that they are going to have lifelong problems because they're taken away from their biological parent? Yes. But is it the state's fault that the mother committed murder? No.
Right.
And giving a child stability is the best thing that you can give a child, ultimately. Yes, you're going to have to work through the other problems down the line when the child gets old enough, but stability will definitely go a long way in helping with that problem. So, I don't know. The whole story makes me so angry.
Yeah.
Oklahoma Girl Scout murders.
The Girl Scout murders have haunted Oklahomans for 45 years. But investigators now say recent DNA testing done by the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation, OSBI, points to one killer and rules out every other suspects brought up.
It was 1977 when 3 young campers, Lori Farmer, Michelle Guise, and Denise Milner, were arred and murdered in Mays County. Even though a suspect was arrested and tried, he was eventually acquitted, and that has led to questions and wild conspiracy theories ever since. But the family's search for justice has never ended.
Sheriff Reed grew up in Mays County and was just a boy when the murders shocked the conscience of the small Locust Grove community. He never imagined years later he would be the one asked to find the answers.
Hey, Tinks, how are you, sir? Are you having a good afternoon, evening, day?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Morning.
Morning. When I give my word, that means something to me. I gave them my word. I didn't know what I could do, but I'd look at it, said Reed.
A year after Reed started looking over the case, he and some OSBI agents went to the National Center for Missing and Exploded Children in Virginia, where 23 of the best homicide investigators, FBI behavioral analysts, and profilers in the world made up a code case board where they all independently combined through every document and every piece of evidence.
So they put a bunch of them on the case.
Yeah.
After a month, every one of them had come to the same conclusion. The only person to commit these murders was Jean Leroy Hart.
Every person that was looked at as a suspect, there is not a piece of DNA that we have not been able to identify, said Reed.
It'd be hard to commit the crimes and not leave any DNA behind.
Yeah.
Reed says all the DNA from the scene matched the 3 girls and Hart. Hart was an escapee on the run when he was arrested for the murders in 1978 after a 10-month-long manhunt, but a jury found him not guilty in 1979. But DNA evidence was not available then, and Reed's conclusion go far beyond DNA.
If there's absolutely was no DNA whatsoever, just the information that I know now, that was not allowed to be shown to the jury. There is absolutely no doubt whatsoever Jean Hart is the person who committed these crimes, said Reed.
Sheriff Reed said, not only is it frustrating Hart was acquitted, he says that frustration began in 1966 when Hart kidnapped 2 pregnant women at gunpoint, drove them to the middle of nowhere in Mays County, tied them up, AR'd them repeatedly, covered them in brush, and left them for dead. If I can get away with it once, I can get away with it twice.
Yeah. The aggravation is this: you do that, you are convicted of that, and you are paroled in 2.5 years and back out on the road. I see a problem with that. That's the frustration, said Reed.
Our system is a mess.
Yeah.
Like, okay, sorry, I'm gonna say this really quick. Like, prisons, they only have like 2 people in the room at most. Some of them now have moved to where there's only 1 person in the room, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody acts like that's so bad because it's such a small room. They have their own room. They have a potty and they have a sink. They have a little private space that they can go and just be by themselves.
Yeah.
Put them in a room with 20-something men and let them smell all the stink of the 20-something men, and put the open toilets so they have to poop next to each other. Like, make it to where it is terrible. Yeah. Like, I know prison's not the best place. I'm not saying that it's great and fantastic, but I think that it could be made to where it's not as luxurious as it is right now, or like, I'm not saying it's luxurious either. I just think there's some adjustments we could make it where they wouldn't think it's as nice still. Like, right. Maybe we can make it to where heroin isn't available in prison.
Yeah.
Start there.
Because a lot of them that end up leaving the system want to get back in the system because they like being there. They're catered to, they're fed, they even can make money in prison.
I've heard a lot of people say, a lot of people, I've heard this so very often, is 3 meals in a cot. And that's so very true. There are so many people that are homeless at this point that they will prefer to be in jail because they have 3 meals in a bed. And it's like, when that's what we think of our jail system, we have problems.
Yeah. They're not in the element. They got air conditioning, they got heaters.
Angie Hay, Family Adventures says, Florida, they do. They have pods. You have about a foot around your bed, and the beds are all... Okay, so is that in jail in Florida, or is that in prison? I like the Arizona. There's one in Arizona where they're outside in tents. And if they're not in the tents outside, they're working the chain gang. And they get to go inside in the pods, but only if they're working the chain gang. And that's hard work. And people don't end up going back to that prison most of the time. And I think that's kind of what we need to move back towards.
Definitely.
The beds are lined up tight to get as many in there as possible. That sounds good. Like, I've seen in a lot of different countries even that people don't want to go in there, and they get food brought in from their families and all kinds of stuff, but just the conditions of the place make them not want to go there. Prison, Angie says. Okay, yeah. See, a lot of them here, a lot of them in a bunch of different states I know, jail has the pods, prison has the cells. Do a show on Bloody Sunday. We will take a picture of that and we will check it out.
Yep, I just snapped it.
It has been known that some homeless people over here will commit a crime in the winter, warm bed and food. Yep, same here. Same here. All right, let's go to the next slide here. Another frustration over the years is Reed says he gets at least 1 phone call a month from someone saying they know who the killer is, and there is plenty of people going on social media spouting theories with no truth to them.
I heard it forever when I was growing up. Oh, they just looked at one person. Really? I can show you documentation of 139 people that OSBI interviewed and looked at as a possible suspect in this. People don't want to hear that, or they never hear that, said Reed.
Remind me when we get done with this that I want to say one more thing about prison.
Okay.
Reed says one of the big myths people have brought into this is that there were 2 different knots used to tie up the girls, which would mean 2 people were involved. But Reed said he's proven that to be false. He said the 2 knots were technically the same.
After all of his research and going through the evidence over and over, he said he can disprove every wild theory out there with actual facts, except one thing, which is there may have been someone involved after the fact because of a bloody footprint found in one of the tents. But he believes it's logical to assume that was someone innocently walking into the scene.
I would agree with that. I mean, it was a Girl Scout camp. I'm sure people were freaking out and not thinking
Yeah.
when all of that was found. It is very, very probable, in my opinion, that they could have stepped in there and realized, oh my gosh, I've got blood on my shoes. I don't know that. I'm not accusing them. Yeah, I would think that too. Like they stepped in there, saw what was going on, and then were like, oh, and you know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, especially they went in there to wake up the girls, so there had to have been people in and out looking for
well,
them at
and
that time.
kids are curious too. Not
Yeah.
saying that kids are curious and dumb. So if they were told to stay away, I'm sure there was some kid that was like, let's go look.
Yeah,
You know
let's go
what I
peek.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jean and Leroy Hart died in prison a little more than 2 months after being acquitted in 1979 from a heart attack. Hart was in prison for another crime.
I say it was solved. I say it was him. It was him.
Yeah.
Guilty. So I want to make sure that I'm clear about do I think that prisons can do better on some things and jail on some things? So like medical care. There are women that give birth in prison and they do not get epidurals. They get left in a room until they're basically the baby's fallen out of them. That kind of crap should not be happening. They should be getting the proper medical care that they need, proper medicines that are needed. That kind of stuff should be happening. I mean, I don't understand why that wouldn't be happening. So that's inhumane treatment, and that shouldn't be happening. But I don't think that we should be making our prisoners so comfortable that they want to come back. That part, the part that I struggle with.
Yeah.
And I hear that MRSA and infections and stuff like that run wild.
Uh-huh.
Well, that can be cured by the prisoners keeping very clean, living conditions. Make them clean. I know you can't always make them do, but I just think that there's there's some YouTubers on here that talk about prison reform and all that all the time. And I think that there is some adjustments that can be made for sure. But I think that falls on both sides. I think there can be some adjustments made to make sure that we're being a little more harsh and harder with the prisoners, and also that we're giving the care that they humanly need while in there. Barb Murray said, I work in a prison and they get great care. Who do you hear this from? I've heard this from people that have been in prison, and I've heard this from several people I know in real life that have been in prison, and I've heard this from YouTubers. I do believe that all prisons are different, though, too. You're going to come into some great prisons that do great with their prisoners, and you're going to come into some that aren't so great. So it's going to be all kinds of things across the board. No two places are going to be the same. I get about one phone call a month because nobody likes me. Jails are 3 hits and a cot. Prison is hell. I would agree with that. I've heard that jail's a little bit easier than prison for sure. Florida prisons are not federally ran, so they have no one to check their standards. Now, that's what I've heard as well, that Florida is one of the more terrible places for sure. It has been known that some homeless people okay. Yeah, we read that one already. I wouldn't trust from prisoners. They lie frequently. Yes and no. There are people that have been in there. Like I said, I think it's a mix. I don't believe everything. Everything's about researching all of it for sure. With that said, Hippie is going to be having a members only stream. He does great things for all of his members, and he's going to be doing that right after this stream. So if you are interested in being a member and checking out his stuff, he's got great stuff for all of his members. Head on over and check that out. We're live every Sunday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. I appreciate everyone joining us in here. It's been great. Barb, I believe that the staff gets treated terribly. I am sure that is definitely true, and I hope that that is not happening to you. And then Nettie, you'll have a new video out next week, correct?
Yep.
On Saturday.
Correct. We have it. Yeah, every Saturday, 10 a.m. Central.
10 a.m. Central, and her link is in the description. And with that being said, wishing you all much kindness and much love.
And we're sending love your way. Good night.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.